Hello family and a very warm welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana and this is the Feminine Closet. In today's video we're going to talk about the power of being mysterious and why it's so important to keep part of our personal life details to ourselves right after the intro. If you've been watching my videos, then you definitely know that we're all about keeping things classy and feminine. And oversharing is definitely not one of those qualities. A divine feminine woman understands that giving any and everybody access to their personal life is equal to poor spiritual hygiene. Now let's discuss the most common reasons for oversharing before we get into how to break those habits. There are so many different reasons why people overshare their personal information with either friends, family, or colleagues. Quick disclaimer. Oversharing is not with everybody. We all have our close family members or trusted friends that we can share our important and most confidential information with. But we are going to go through a few common reasons why we tend to overshare with the wrong people. The first one being loneliness. Most people who are always alone or buried in their busy life schedules often find themselves oversharing when they're in the presence of a good listener or when the overexcitement of being with company gets to them so much that they end up trying by all means to impress and to keep that person interested. Another common reason for oversharing is lack of boundaries. Have you ever said something and then felt a sudden feeling of guilt as soon as the words slip out of your mouth? Like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. That is a huge sign that you need to set up boundaries for yourself. You need to work out what you can and what you cannot discuss with either your friends, your colleagues, your partner, or your family members. Just because you trust somebody so much doesn't mean that now they must have full access to any and everything that is going on with your life. Most of your personal life details are meant for you and nobody else. I'll tell you why later in the video. Past trauma is another common reason why most people tend to overshare, especially if you've never gone to therapy or performed any sort of spiritual practices that can help you heal and overcome it. The most common one is when you were barely given the freedom to express your feelings during childhood. Specifically, people who have been traumatized often feel overwhelmed by their past experiences and end up sharing as a way of trying to build trust and reliable relationships. This sometimes might lead them into toxic relationships, as some people might use that same information against them or to manipulate them. Another common reason for oversharing I've noticed is seeking validation from other people. People who always compare themselves to others and end up feeling like they're not good enough tend to overshare as a way of trying to make themselves feel better and to gain validation from others. Here's another common giant one: social media. With the way people display their personal lives on the internet just for views and likes, most people have let down their boundaries and started accepting and believing that this is the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes the amount of views and likes they get are not even worth the consequences that come with exposing their most intimate and sensitive life details to the world around them. Keeping toxic friends around you will also hinder you from enforcing your boundaries and keeping your personal life to yourself. Friends who are always telling you about their toxic relationships or unnecessarily sharing their personal information with you are bound to make you feel comfortable oversharing your own information, which can lead you to more drama and toxic energy around you. How do you overcome this habit of giving out too much information than necessary? This won't be an easy technique for someone who's always been ignorant and vulnerable with their personal information to any and everybody. It is a skill that requires constant practice but can be perfected over time. The first thing you need to remember is that nobody cares about you the way you do. Fact. Whatever matters to you, whatever is important to you, won't be just as important to the person next to you. So all your goals, your plans, your relationships, your finances, your ideas, whatever it is that is going on in your personal life, try and keep it to yourself. Say for example, if you need financial advice, you can always ask a professional or someone you can trust instead of putting it out on social media where any and everybody can have access to that information, or asking a friend who's always been wondering how much you're making or what your bank balance looks like. That is your business, not theirs. If you're having relationship problems with your partner, the most feminine and wisest thing to do is to discuss it with them or perhaps to seek counseling instead of going all out exposing your partner's flaws and mistakes to your friends and your family. The last thing you want to do is to head back to your partner with all the information you gathered out there and then start viewing them from your friends or family's point of view, because sometimes it might not be the best. Secondly, stop being too nosy and meddling into other people's businesses. Know your boundaries. If you have certain boundaries in place, then you know where to draw the line when it comes to other people's business, which then helps you know what you can and what you cannot share with other people. Say, for example, if I'm not going to ask you about your finances, then I have no business discussing my finances with you. But if you're always into other people's personal business, then you're more likely to let them into your own personal space as well. Journaling is another great tool that can help you deal with your personal issues without feeling the need to go out and be vulnerable with someone else. You can practice journaling when you feel stressed, overexcited, or anxious. So this can help you challenge yourself to sit down with your own thoughts and try to figure out how you can deal with the situation at hand without the help of another person. So the next time you find yourself in a situation whereby you are about to overshare, always pause and ask yourself these questions. Why do I feel the need to talk about this? Do they even care? Is it any of their business? What do I stand to gain from sharing this information? How are they going to view me after this conversation? And 99% of the time, you'll realize that it's not even worth it. And shutting your mouth is probably the best choice you can make. If this video was informative to you, kindly hit that like button and subscribe to my growing channel. And as usual, we have come to the end of another video. I'll see you on the next one.